Welcome to Wrestling and Everything, Coast to Coast, with your host, Buddy Sotelo Esquire. And this show is one of my favorite shows for the entire year. I look forward to it for a whole year long, and that's because we have my lovely, lovely guest, Jeannie Bassone, also known as Hollywood from Glow. Hello and welcome to Wrestling Coast to Coast. This time just with your host, Buddy Sotelo Esquire, and a longtime friend of ours. But many things have happened in the exactly 2 weeks away from 4 years when he was last on a good show. He was guest number 15, and we just had 220 guests. So you've been over 200 shows ago. Eric, wow. Thank you so much. And representing Deep South Wrestling, which is, I think, something
Deep South Wrestling.
That is very nice. I love the shirt and I love the logo. Yeah. Talk all about that, but I don't think you were involved in that at all when I talked to you 4 years ago.
4 years ago when we were talking, I was helping out at Robert Gibson's wrestling school. I was still very much an active wrestler. I think the pandemic may have just started at that time.
Hello and welcome to Wrestling and Everything, Coast to Coast, with your host, Buddy Sotelo Esquire, wrestling's premier photographer, Dr. Mike Leno, and the effervescent Evan Ginsberg. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We have a very, very special guest for tonight. Man, I'm proud to say, is a Facebook friend of mine, is the son of the legend, once living legend, Harley Race, Justin Race. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey guys,
tonight.
How you doing? Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Great. So,
Dr. Lano, Evan.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Nice to meet you guys too.
So just when it came to Cauliflower Alley, I don't know if you, because I knew BJ obviously, but I don't think I knew if you were from his prior marriage. Then I didn't know Herb. Yeah. Did ride with Harley. Like around Kiel, back and forth to Kansas City Memorial Auditorium and stuff like that. And then he rode around with him when he came out to San Francisco. But Russ and Evan said that you rode with him. So were you, that's all I'm going to ask. Were you riding around with him in like the 70s and his?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, major.
Yeah, I was my mom and I traveled with him. My mom's name is Ivana. And in fact, we'll be at Cauliflower Alley this year. We're doing the seminar that Ron Hutchinson set up.
Hello and welcome to Wrestling and Everything, Coast to Coast, with your host, Buddy Sotelo Esquire, and Canada's best and most notable wrestling-related attorney, Jonathan Schwartz, and our esteemed author and erudite companion, Evan Ginsberg. And would you like to introduce our guest for tonight?
Absolutely. We are honored to have on Bob Smith, former Pro Wrestling Illustrated editor and writer. And he is also a blues man, and I'm a big blues buff, so we're going to talk blues as well later in the show, because this is wrestling and everything, not just wrestling. And how's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, I can talk the blues for sure. But yes, Bob, thank you for being on our show tonight.
Well, thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here. The same was I was on Evan's radio show. I don't remember the year, but I remember being on your radio show, Late Night Manhattan. Am I remembering that correctly?
Absolutely. That was WBAI FM, 50,000 watts, 99.5. And the late, great Fred Giabold was the host and my radio mentor. And that was a long time ago. That was early 90s. And we went about 15 or 16 years on that station. And ironically, when we were put Wednesday 2 in the afternoon, we became prime real estate, and then all the politics hit. And next thing we knew, we were gone. 3 in the morning, we were safe. 2 in the afternoon, they wanted us out. But Man, so it's been a long time, Bob, and I've always
Yes.
enjoyed your work and respect your work. And tell us a little about your history in wrestling first off before we talk music.
Oh, I'm just the luckiest guy in the lower 48. I'm telling you. Speaking to a Canadian over here, I better say it that way, right?